Mass Movement in the spotlight.
All right, tonight we are so lucky to be joined by what seems to be the entire crew for a good time. Why don't we go around and just kind of introduce everyone for the audience?
Hi, I'm Katie Nalon. I'm co-writer and producer of For a Good Time Call.
I'm Ari Grainer. I play movie Katie, and I also executive produce the film.
Hi, I'm Lauren Miller, and I play movie Lauren, and I co-wrote the movie, and I produced it as well.
And hi, I'm Jamie Travis. I'm the director.
And Ari, I'm going to start with you because you're in one of my favorite movies of all time. Every time Nick and Nora comes on, I immediately get sucked in. And I heard it was your performance as a hot mess in that movie that got you casted for this role.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. It was amazing for me to hear that Lauren and Katie wrote this film, I guess, with a little bit of my voice in mind after having seen Nick and Nora. And of course, when there was the idea of this movie being made in a studio world, there was no chance I ever could have played Katie because I've been sort of, in supporting role land. And then when Lauren had the 3 a.m. moment of her soul where she decided to take a chance on herself and make the movie independently, they called me and they didn't even make me eat any turkey sandwiches in this movie, which was nice.
So had you ever called a phone sex line prior to this movie?
When I was a kid, I one time tried to call a 900 number, but I was like a really good, sweet little Jewish girl and didn't actually want to speak to anyone. I didn't want to talk dirty. I didn't want to hear anything. And I certainly didn't want my parents to see the bill, but I wanted to just get enough of an adrenaline rush just to punch in the numbers. And then I hung up. And for research with this, Katie sort of had that covered, which she can tell you about.
I was lucky enough to be a clever and ambitious college freshman in need of cash, so I worked as a phone sex operator from the privacy of my dorm room with my dorm mate. And when I realized I was hideously underpaid industry-wise, I started my own phone sex line, and I heard some really crazy things, and it was all really funny, and it was going to be put to good use eventually, so here you have it.
And then Lauren, how did you and Katie first team up? Did you call her looking for a good time and just hit it off?
I wish that had happened. Unfortunately, no, it was not nearly that exciting. We were a random roommate match in college, and we were an odd couple. I'm more reserved and quiet and play by the rules and would also think of hanging up if I ever called the phone sex line, whereas Katie she's outgoing and she's fun. And when we went to write the script, we decided to rely on that sort of dynamic that the two of us have because we thought that would be really fun.
And then Jamie, I want to talk to you about just capturing the madness on film, because from some of your other work, I don't recall seeing a lot of dildos.
This was my first experience working with dildos. I've never said the word dildo so much as I did in this period of my life. The films that I have made before were all short films, and they were often about children. So naturally, you don't put children with dildos. That could be very inappropriate. And of course, in my work with Tegan and Sarah, I did 2 videos with them. There were also no dildos. I don't think that the Tegan and Sarah brand and dildos go well together. So when I read this script and I read all the dildos, how could I say no?
And then Lauren, one of the memorable scenes in the movie is when you and Ari have a three-way call with Seth Rogen. Is it awkward having another woman talk dirty to your husband, or is that the secret to a healthy relationship?
Well, it was nothing new for us to have someone else there. So, it's funny because Ari keeps saying how she feels so special because she is the only third that we've ever had around.
I feel so honored.
And but it was only fun. It wasn't awkward or anything. Obviously, Seth is really, really skilled at improv and obviously can make anything funny. So we just had a good time and made sure to keep all the phone sex calls. We made sure to keep those loose because we do have such talented comedians in those roles. We really wanted to make sure that we were showcasing what they can really do.
And then Ari, I'm sure from doing this movie, The Sitter, you can pretty much orgasm on command now. Would you want to give a demonstration for our listeners?
No, absolutely not. Go see my movies.
Well, this is a very entertaining movie. I definitely recommend that everyone does buy a ticket because it's worth seeing Ari orgasm. That is for sure. So For a Good Time Call is now in theaters, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining us.
Putting the world's biggest stars at your fingertips. The Mass Movement with Joe Bermudez. Join the movement now at massmovementradio.com.